the Boulder housing market. This is the November 2021 edition. Let's take a look at the market. We're looking at single-family homes, and if we look at the median sales price, it has been going up. We can see a chart from 2019, 2020, and 2021. Everyone who's looking for a house right now to purchase, to buy, has noticed the prices have been going up, up, up. In Boulder County, just in the long run, it has always been a steady incline. So even through rough times, the Boulder County area still appreciates in value, so the prices are higher. What I want to talk about this time is about the seasonal market that we have in Colorado that you don't see necessarily in other places. So for example, in this chart, we can take a look at how the market changes through winter months. And you can see that this is steady throughout time. For the last 10 years, we see a steady decline in that November, December, January, February timeframe around here. And this is not what you'll find in other markets. If you go look at California, you'll see it's just a steady flow all year round. So when people ask, well, when should I list my home? It's very interesting to see in Colorado that we just don't have that many listings through that winter couple of months as opposed to summer and when we have spikes from spring and summer. So what does that really mean? Does that mean you should be buying at those time frames, or should you not? Or should you be listing your home or not? So let's take a look at that. So one interesting statistic is looking at the number of new homes on the market. And that's where we see the sine wave of up and down, up and down, and up and down throughout the Boulder market. So in this chart, you can see we have Boulder, we've got Louisville, Lafayette, Longmont, and all of them are following that same up and down, up and down, up and down throughout the year. And all the deep troughs are from that November, December, January timeframe. And it ranges a little bit. It could be October, November, December. Kind of depends on the season and how things are going. That is very common in our market. Now, it looks like 2021 is still very similar following that pattern. But what we also want to take a look at is the inventory that we have, the month supply of inventory, because that tells us whether we're in a seller's market or a buyer's market. And when we take a look at the Boulder, all the cities in Boulder County, we're going to see that we have very low inventory. Now, what we typically say is if 6 months supply, then we're in a balanced market. So anything below that means we're more in a seller's market. We don't have enough inventory for the buyers that are out there. And that's what we're seeing. So even though we're in a cyclic phase of winter being a little bit less new listings on the market, we're also seeing we're just really low on inventory. So if we're coming into winter with so few inventory to begin with, and we typically get less inventory through the winter months, it means we could really hit rock bottom on that supply of homes available for sale. In fact, these numbers that we're seeing for the inventory, months of inventory, are some of record lows. Now, how does that affect our price? Well, we could look at two things. We could look at the actual sales price, either averages or the median. I typically pick the median because especially in Boulder, the city of Boulder, we have some really high expensive homes, $5 million plus, even more, all the way down to low-end homes and affordable housing. Whereas you see Louisville, Lafayette, even Longmont have less variation in their home prices. So now if we look at price per square foot, we can see a general incline again all through time from the last 10 years of going steadily up. And while we can try to look for those peaks and valleys as we go through the seasonal months on the price per square foot, it can also depend on, well, who's actually selling a home in the winter months versus the spring and summer months. So for example, the city of Boulder has a really large university, CU, right in the middle of town. So the best time when people are buying, if they're looking at rentals, which 58% of the housing in Boulder proper is a rental. So if we're looking for that specific market, we're looking at those students and the student turnover and parents buying houses for their kids to go to college for 4 years. And they're really looking in that spring and summer before school starts. And that's actually a common time frame, which is that summertime before the kids have to go to school. And that can be a nationwide thing where a lot of families want to get settled before their kids are going off to school. So even with price per square foot, we can still see a steady incline in the price values throughout the entire year on year, in the Boulder County area. Now, how can we predict what's going to happen with the market? That gets a little bit tricky because just like the stock market, it's hard to really predict what's going on and what may happen. What we don't think will happen is another big crash because the mortgages got a lot smarter and they're not giving away free houses with no money down. So there's a lot more intricacies into determining whether we're going to be into a crash or not, and that's a little bit beyond this video. But at least this gives you some idea of the cycles that Colorado, or at least this Boulder County area that we experience. You can get a feel for looking at the inventory on the market and how that's affecting prices on our market.